And yesterday, the United Nations Independent International Commission of Inquiry on Ukraine submitted a report concluding that Russian authorities are committing crimes against humanity against Ukraine's civilian population through forced disappearances. UN Commissioner Vrinda joined us for more on their findings.
So we have presented a report to the Human Rights Council in Geneva at the end of our third mandate. In a report presented a few months earlier, we had concluded that the crimes against humanity of torture was committed by the Russian authorities against the civilian Ukrainian population, particularly against those who are held in detention facilities, both in the occupied areas of Ukraine as well as in the Russian Federation. In our present report, we have now concluded that the crimes against humanity of enforced disappearances against the civilian population has been committed as part of a coordinated state policy in a widespread and systematic manner against the civilian population. A very large number of civilians are detained by the Russian authorities, and they are then transferred to different detention facilities. There are multiple transfers that have taken place with respect to some of those detained. The detentions have taken place both in the occupied areas of Ukraine by the Russians, as well as in detention facilities in the Russian Federation. Those who are then detained, the families of those, they have no information with respect to their fate or their whereabouts. The responses after the families are seeking and searching for them, given by some communications that are given by the Russian authorities, particularly the Ministry of Defense, are usually very standard replies, which even if they do inform sometimes of the fate, the whereabouts are still not known. And the persons who are disappeared, they can be disappeared for long periods of time, not just for months, some for years. Some have even died during this enforced disappearance. Their families have been looking and searching for them, and there is obviously, as can be understood, an agonizing uncertainty in waiting. Those who are detained also suffer and are become victims of multiple other violations, including torture, sexual violence while in detention. And in this way, they are kept away from the protection of the law.
We also asked the commissioner about what happens next in terms of holding Russian authorities accountable.
So accountability has to be carried out. We are a fact-finding, investigating mechanism. The accountability process, and we collect evidence, through a process of investigation, and very scrupulously and rigorously ensure that all the information is verified. Accountability mechanisms will exist in different places, both domestically within Ukraine. There is an accountability mechanism of Ukraine itself, but at the international level, you have the International Criminal Court, which undertakes accountability of crimes of this nature, like for the crimes against humanity, which is a crime coded under the Rome Statute. Information, material, evidence, once collected and will then be scrutinized, and ICC does its own investigations also. Thereafter, accountability takes place both against, depending on what the evidence shows. For instance, our evidence confirms that where the FSB, as they are called in Russian, are present in detention facilities, they have committed or ordered torture to be committed, particularly during interrogations. So there are therefore entities who against whom there are certain crimes that are being arraigned. The accountability process, of course, is a much longer and will take place as this is pursued further over a period of time, but would take place through different entities and forums, particularly the International Criminal Court.